Okay, I've taken the strings off, and I've taken the screws out of the plate to install the buzz stop, and I was checking to see how the possible angle might look, and if you can see it, there is a much greater break in the angle of the string. And I guess that's the whole idea behind the buzz stop, because from what I understand, whoever invented the buzz stop created it to stop the buzzing of the bridge and or saddles, because as I said earlier, this is not really a very stable bridge, because it's supposed to rock a little bit when you use the whammy bar and the strings ride here. People were complaining that they're picking up buzz from the saddles and or the bridge. So my guess is that this was made to increase tension on the strings, and so it kind of makes sense to me that for my problem, increasing the tension on the strings would hopefully prevent the strings from sliding out of the string slot. And that's also why I'm going up a gauge in strings. I want a heavier gauge. This is a short scale guitar, so short scale guitars inherently have less tension on the strings anyway. So I'm just trying to think of the best ways to increase the string tension that sit in the saddles, at least the stock ones. I like the tone of this guitar, and that's why I'm kind of going through the trouble without spending a whole lot of money on this little experiment. So this is where I'm at, and I actually tried the buzz stop reversed, because it can go on either way. But when I tried it this way, the angle break wasn't nearly as great as when turned around this way. And by the way, this rolls, so when you do use the whammy bar, the string can roll. I guess that's the idea. Otherwise, it would just be going up against a rigid piece of metal to grind away at the strings. So this is where I'm at. I'm just going to put the 2 screws in, and then I'll string up the guitar. I decided to restring one of the existing strings just to check the angle break, and that's a much better break in there. And I'm not exactly sure if this is in fact a high E in tune, but I think it's in the ballpark. But just, I'm really bending it hard. I'm bending the string halfway across the fretboard, if not more. And I know the glare is picking this up. It's kind of washing things out, but the string is not popping out, so that's a good sign. What I might do is simply put the strings back on instead of switching to 10s. That way I won't have to spend time readjusting the saddles. I might have to do some fine tuning, because if you can see the adjustment screws, they're at all kinds of crazy heights, because I was trying to get as low as possible and not hit this rail here. Why this was designed this way, I have no idea. I can't see any functional purpose to having this built into the bridge, and I personally don't know why Fender designed bridges that would sit so high in the body. But for whatever reason, people love their Jazzmasters the way they've been built, but then I've seen all over the internet complaints about it, and then they want to modify the guitar. And I'm always of the opinion that, you know, you should get a guitar and be able to play it out of the box, not buy it to modify it. So that doesn't make sense to me, at least from those people I've read online, where they're diehard Jazzmaster players, but they've been on like a 20-year quest to fix either the buzz problem or the action height problem. So that just doesn't make sense to me. If I loved the guitar that much and wanted to play it, I would just drill holes into the guitar or try to retrofit a Tune-o-matic bridge or something, which I understand has been tried, but because of the string spacing, a Tune-o-matic or a stock Gibson Tune-o-matic will not work. So they go through all these, they jump through all kinds of hoops, and I personally would prefer not to. So ideally, this solution will work. I will string up and retune and see how that goes. And oh, by the way, I picked up this particular Buzz Stop from eBay for $20 less than whoever actually sells it for. I think it's about $45. So I saved. It was worth it to me to spend $25 and change on this than to either sell the guitar or get rid of it entirely, or go through other more drastic solutions that I've read about on the net, like drilling deeper posts. I understand the posts of this bridge sit in thimbles. You know, I could have, you know, drilled deeper and dropped the bridge, but I didn't want to get too radical in doing something that's not reversible. This is totally reversible. I don't know who makes Buzz Stop. I don't know if somebody owns a patent on it. So I'm not making any money from trying to pass on information that might help other people. And again, my goal is to just keep the action low and keep the string from sliding out. And I'm going to pull this with my right hand, and it hasn't popped out. So again, my goal is to get the action low, and I don't know if I'm going to have to shim a little bit more. I should have taken measurements before, just to show anybody that's watching how low I was able to get the action. The original action was literally this high off the fretboard. I was astounded when I saw the guitar. As I said earlier, these adjustment screws were totally flush, if not beneath the tops of the individual saddles. They were just dimed out all the way. You know, the action was literally this high. It was insane. So once I found out by lowering the saddles, I would hit this rail here, which again I think is the dumbest thing I've ever seen Fender do. And I'm a huge Fender fan. I have Strats, my Telecasters, my oldest guitar. I pretty much love everything Fender. But this is, to me, just a brain-damaging bridge design. If somebody can explain to me what function this design of a bridge has, I would like to know, because I just don't see it. I can't even figure it out. So on to the next step. Okay, I put the old strings back on. These are the 9s that came on the guitar. I installed the Buzz Stop with the idea of adding more pressure to the strings so they would not slide out of the string slot. I just quickly tuned up, and I'm just going to bend real hard. Let's see if I can get that into frame. and the string isn't sliding out, and that was the goal of me putting the Buzz Stop on, not to stop any buzz or rattle coming from the bridge or the saddles. I didn't get the action as low as I wanted. I don't have a feeler gauge or a measuring device, but just to give you an idea, here's a penny. The original action out of the box is literally about half the penny, so I reduced the action probably by more than 50%, and I pulled hard on all the strings, deliberately trying to get the string to pop out of the saddle. And so far, well, I popped the E string out on this one, but when I first got the guitar, I wasn't able to do anything like that. You know, you just have to basically touch it or strum it, and that's all it took to pop the string out of the saddle. I'm still going to have to play with it. The intonation is off. But that was a secondary concern to me, because I don't know if I'm going to change the saddles out entirely. I'm not crazy about these saddles. Well, the grooves seem deep enough. To me, the whole problem is basically the whole design of the bridge and saddle system. You know, I just think it's a really bizarro system. I may add a string tree. There's only one string tree at the headstock for the E and B strings that gives the string a bit of an angle break at the top before the nut, but there's nothing for the G and the D strings like you might find on I think you only find those on the older Strats, but I have a Strat that has 2 string trees on it, and that might help things. And also, the lighting might be better here. I may reshim the neck. Let me see if I can get that into frame. You might be able to see the space in here. I may have to reshim the neck to bring the neck up to get lower action, because you're not going to get lower action by lowering the bridge, because you can't lower the bridge. So my opinion is, when you go googling on the net like I did and saw people selling adjustable bridges, you can't adjust it lower than the depth of the hole that's drilled into the guitar, you know, so that's kind of pointless. So you'd end up having to shim your neck anyway to raise the level of the neck up, as opposed to trying to bring the bridge down when there is a point where you can't go any further unless you're willing to drill into your guitar. As a matter of fact, I did write one bridge manufacturer who sold a quote-unquote adjustable bridge, and he pointed out to me, well, if you want it lower than stock height, you'd have to adjust the bridge. So in other words, I think he was saying you'd have to shim, you'd have to adjust the neck, is what he said. So a truss rod adjustment is not going to fix that. You know, you're going to have to shim the neck by putting, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube on how to shim the neck. For all I know, there's a similar video regarding my issue, but I didn't find it. So that's really why I'm putting this up, because I've been helped by people on YouTube, and because other guitar players helped me try to figure this out. You know, I guess you can say I'm paying it forward. I know I have intonation issues right now, but again, that's secondary. I just wanted to see if this would in fact work. I think for the most part it does, even though I did get this to pop out again. But this is a major improvement. Could be how I'm picking it too, because I'm plucking the string. But at least I got the action down lower. It's much more playable in my opinion, as opposed to literally having the action this high. It was literally that high off the fretboard. Anybody with the new Jazzmaster knows what I'm talking about. Again, with the new Jazzmaster, you're going to find the adjustment screws flush to the top of the saddle, and that's how high it is. Just imagine this saddle all the way up here and the neck unshimmed, and what you get is super high action. You know, maybe if all you do is play rhythm, but even for a rhythm player, and I'm not the type of guy that needs super low action, because I'm just used to relatively high action, but this action was so high I found it pretty much impossible to do anything with it other than play like cowboy type chords or something like that. So I think the cheap fix for this is getting a Buzz Stop that you can find easily on eBay. That's where I found this. If you're lucky, you would get it for less than 20 bucks. I just decided to go for the buy it now option, and with shipping and all that, it came to just about $26 or whatever. So to me, it was worth the trouble, because I do like the sound of the guitar. There's going to be it's going to require further adjustment, and that's pretty much it. And if this all looks dirty to you, it's because I still have the plastic protective coating on this guitar, because I wasn't sure if I was going to sell it or whatever. But in any case, for $299, I thought this was a good buy. It's a new type of Fender to me, and that's it. I hope this helps somebody out there. Take care.